What's going on podcasters and YouTubers? This is Hav here, one of your hosts for the Real Fan Review. Today with me in beautiful fluorescent pink, we got my brother B.
What's up, everybody? How you doing?
Well, I mean, he's not wearing fluorescent pink, but the background is gorgeous. It's gorgeous, might I say, Brandon.
Oh, let me get my fluorescent pink shirt. Hold on now.
In our Real Fan Review blue, we got our man in the chair, Al.
How's it going, everybody?
Yes, sir. And there's rumors, there's innuendos, there's theories, there's a thesis that Sanj might be popping up tonight. We'll see if Sanj pops in tonight and helps us out, talk about movies, movie news, and all these different things. But tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about Hawkeye episode 3, which was chef kiss.
Yeah.
Amazing. We're going to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home because these fellas keep talking about it. So let's see what they got to say about Spider-Man No Way Home. And then lastly, we're going to talk about just some movie stuff as far as the fellas here go, because there's not a lot of movie news in the news. So we're going to talk about stuff that maybe we can kind of maybe attach ourselves with, so that maybe you can attach yourself with, as far as like moments in a movie theater that we have, as far as watching certain movies and our experience. So we'll share that with you guys, and maybe you'll share some back with us on either the YouTube site, on the comment section, or if you email us at therealfanreview@gmail.com. And remember, if you do have a topic or anything you guys want us to talk about, just hit us up on that email. So, let's start off with some real movie stuff. I mean, besides the anticipation for Spider-Man No Way Home, Brandon, talk to me, man. What's going on with your Spider-Man No Way Home mindset and Instagram and YouTube and all that stuff?
Oh, it's funny because like there's nonstop memes ever since like that Brazilian trailer came out with the 1 extra second and the lizard getting punched. Like the amount of memes and videos being made have been hilarious. I'm dying. Usually at this point I've turned off social media so that way I don't get any spoilers. But like at this point, I can't help but keep watching because everything is hilarious. From just like the Tom Holland videos of him like almost spoiling something, and like Kevin Feige's face just popping up in the background, or like if anyone remembers The Incredibles, the scene where the teacher has the video of Dash, the speedster son, being a speedster in class. They like redubbed it. So that way the teacher was like Marvel fans, the mom was Marvel, Dash was Andrew Garfield, and the principal was like multiverse deniers. And on the screen was the video of the lizard getting punched in the face. And then she goes, there he is. That's it right there. And if you know the scene from the movie, it's hilarious. It's so funny. I was rolling. But it's just been so funny. Like, I know that I'm going to have to turn off my social media soon, but I don't want to miss all this gold.
I hear you, man. Listen, Al has some news on that end because I think we're not going to hear too much from the critics. Because Al, what was the scoop you got there, man?
Yeah, no, I was watching Campy the other day, and he was talking about No Way Home and the fact that the screener that the critics are going to be given, they normally get a full access. They get to see the whole movie. This way they know what they're talking about as they interview the stars and everybody else about the movie. They're only going to get 40 minutes. And I think this movie is projected at 2.5 hours. So
yeah,
there might be more surprises than just the 2 Spider-Men that we all but know about.
I agree. Yeah. Completely agree.
Yeah. So what level of surprise can we be expecting that you're only releasing 40 minutes of the movie to critics?
That is just crazy. I mean, listen, we already got the mentions of the Spider-Man villains from across the 3 different movie universes. Again, they haven't showed Toby and Andrew, so I'm pretty sure they're in the movie. You can't have their villains and not have them, But
I mean, and yesterday alone, we got a trailer for Across the Spider-Verse. So the coincidence of that being 13 days apart, I think we're going to get like a little nod to something else here and there, or see something from X and Y from that kind of franchise.
Plus, didn't the trailer come out, and I think there's a track that has their theme songs incorporated into it. So Yeah, kid. And now, I mean, the next thing is going to be the toys coming out and
Wow.
giving
yeah.
away like who's in it and so forth. That's going to be the next leak.
We are pretty much a week and a half away.
That's crazy.
That's it. That's it. The next podcast is a Spider-Man No Way Home prep, which should be fun because we're going to have to talk about these villains coming from other movie universes. So we're going to talk to you guys about the Spider-Man universe, the Amazing Spider-Man universe, and then the MCU Spider-Man universe and what we think is happening and our takes on those characters. So make sure next week you come back and we do that prep with you guys and have some fun with our memories of Spider-Man. I've actually watched the whole Tobey Maguire Spider-Man series. So now I'm up to the Andrew Garfield. So once I finish writing my 10-page paper tonight, I will be watching Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man to get ready for next week's podcast. One of the things, Brandon just said that Across the Spider-Verse trailer just came out with the Miles Morales. Any chance you guys think Miles Morales shows up in this movie?
I think a nod. We got a nod in Homecoming. And so, like, I think without trying to overwhelm the movie, we're going to get all these multiverse nods. But I think along the line that we're going to get a Miles Morales nod in there, too. Just because, I think it was said the other day by, was it Patty Jenkins, who said that, oh, no, Tom Holland's going to be our Spider-Man for the next 3. So if Tom Holland's going to be Spider-Man for 3 more movies after this, then we're going down a certain road, because Tom Holland isn't going to do it after these next 3. He's already said that he's like, I think I don't want to be 30 years old and still playing Spider-Man. So, I'm thinking that he's going to be Spider-Man for another one while introducing Miles fully. Maybe that Venom crossover that we've been waiting to happen for my entire life. And then, maybe a Sinister Six movie that's an actual Sinister Six movie. If this isn't it, we'll see. So I think we're going to get a nod to Miles in this one.
How about you, Al, man? Any hopes to see Miles?
I'm hoping so. If you're telling me there's this many kind of surprises, other than Andrew, Toby, we're all but, like Brandon just said, we're all but expecting Venom in there, even if at least in the minimum, the end scene, like hinting at the crossover coming. There's got to be something. And, maybe the next 3 movies aren't Tom Holland. Maybe they are a Miles Morales trilogy. Right. So, yes, we are getting a Spider-Man trilogy, but not Tom Holland, not Peter Parker. No, we're going to get Miles Morales. So it would be, interesting to see if we get 2 end sequences, one to lead us into the Venom crossover and one to lead us into the Miles Morales. Because for such a small, an animated movie, it gave the Spider-Man universe so many avenues that it could potentially go down just by bringing in the multiverse within Spider-Man's universe.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be crazy, man. And again, we don't know what Marvel's hiding or Sony's hiding. I really don't want to sound negative. I just don't think the X-Men are coming because that's part of MCU, Fox, and Disney. You know what I'm saying? So to throw them into the Sony movie, I think they won't do it. But it sounds like they might be, right? But then it also sounds like Miles. It might sound like somebody else crazy we've never seen before shows up. I'm just so interested to see what the hell happens in this movie, man. A week and a half.
We're so close. It's crazy.
Yeah, man. It's almost that time to shut down the computer and the internet, fellas.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
I think after next Sunday's podcast, we're done. Mwah, goodbye, Internet. Goodbye, Instagram. We loved you. Yeah. See you in 4 days.
Yep.
Oh, man. And then, like, in other news, there really wasn't much stuff out there. I didn't really see anything big on the news front. So, other than that, for the last week, the big thing that came out was Hawkeye, episode 3 called Echoes. And I got to tell you guys, man, amazing. I love this this episode part 3 here. So before we get right into it, people, just know, again, spoilers for Hawkeye episode 3. We're going to go into it because, again, everything you see in this episode is a spoiler, and the things we're going to talk about are spoilers. So let's get right into it. Al, talk to me, man. Episode 3, Echoes. Your thoughts, my friend.
It was actually a good twist. I mean, granted, it is the third episode, so we're officially halfway through the show. Yeah, so they were going to have to pick up the pace, and I thought they did in a good way. You know, they got deeper into each of the characters, built upon their bond. I thought that scene where Clint was talking to his son over the phone, and she had to act as the relay for him.
Dude,
You know, I thought
tear
that
dropped.
was kid.
Tear dropped on that one.
Yeah, especially that one line where he says, "It's okay, Dad, if you're not home for Christmas." Oh,
Dude.
Yeah, as a father, you know that hit him. So, you know, just watching that and watching it with the Pym arrow, like everything. The one part about the episode I didn't like was the beginning, because again, this is Hawkeye. I want to see and hear Hawkeye get developed. I did not like that they used such a good portion of the beginning of the episode to bring in Echo. She's getting her own show. Bring her in, hint to her backstory, so forth, and then let her show develop her backstory.
Gotcha.
I don't think we needed that much of Hawkeye's episode to bring her in.
Yeah, man. And I kind of figured they might do that, because when they left off the last episode with just this girl, for most of us, it's like, who the hell is that? If you don't read the news on the internet and look up stuff, you won't know who that is. You'll just be like, okay, there's a girl there that looks like she's in red. Nothing more than that. So this as soon as it starts off, is kind of giving you her backstory, and it gets a little bit crazy, which we will talk about definitely. But listen, this episode, when it ended, I gasped and I was like, no. And then sure enough, credits, because it ended with the sword to Clint's neck from the stepfather on there. But I enjoyed the episode so much. I'm talking from the car chase scene, which was basically like the one shot that they keep doing. They do like a one shot where it doesn't look like the camera has a cut. Looked amazing. The Pym arrow is amazing. I didn't think that was coming out. You know, and then the jokes going back and forth about the types of arrows that he has, the trick arrows. Yeah. Amazing. Just the story that's playing out just seems really cool, interesting. You mentioned it again, that whole scene where he's talking to his son and he doesn't know a thing that his son is saying, and she's relaying it, and then just that whole interaction was just touching, man. But I love the episode. I thought it was amazing. Brandon, how about yourself, man? What'd you think of the episode?
Oh, I thought the episode was incredible. I haven't been on the podcast a couple of days. But I think this show has literally blown me out of my expectations completely. I remember us talking about that first trailer. I'm like, I have no idea what's going on, and it does not look interesting at all. And I remember watching the first episode, and I was just like, all right, okay. Haley Steinfeld, okay. Then the second episode, I'm like, okay. I was like, where are we going? And then this episode just blew me away. Yeah. And I really love this episode. And Al, I agree with you with the taking a significant portion of the beginning to introduce Echo. I get it. She's getting her own show. And, I get it why we should care about her, and the fact that she's getting her own show. So, I know why they gave her that much time as in the beginning. But I agree with only 6 episodes in the series, and this being episode 3, I want to make sure that we have enough time for the plot. I don't want this to then move over into the Echo show, and then go into the Kate Bishop show. I want this plot storyline to end relatively the Marvel way, to end after Hawkeye episode 6. Whatever happens after that into Echo, awesome. Whatever happens into the Kate Bishop show, cool, awesome, but I want this Hawkeye storyline to end on episode 6. I don't want to lose anything there. And then my favorite thing is that this, from basically the whole breakout scene to the phone call, was literally scene for scene, panel by panel from Hawkeye number 3, the actual comic. This was the actual comic. And I read that comic, and scene by scene, just even the dialogue, the way they recreated the dialogue. It's just almost the same dialogue in the way she made jokes about the trick arrows, like just the way they brought it to life was so cool. Because like, Marvel takes comic things and twists things around, but for them to take the actual comic and recreate it into the show, kind of like what Watchmen did with them with their own movie, it was really cool. And I actually really appreciated that. And then same thing, I tear jerker with the phone call. I think a tear came down when he said thanks at the end of it, and I was like, oh shit. Like, all the nods to things here and there with Echo's storyline, the sword at the end to Clint's neck, if you know the comics, who that character is in the comics, whether they may or may not be that character in the show, but the fact that the whole episode, she kept just saying the name Jack and wouldn't say his last name. And then we got that at the end, I'm like, oh my God, they're going to say his last name. They're going to be like, oh, this is the guy who taught me, so I was waiting for that the whole episode. I was like, why won't she say his last name in front of Clint, so I think this episode did a lot of good setting up and was very good on its own. And it got me very excited for the next 3 episodes.
Yeah, man, definitely, man. And then, one of the main things, of course, that we talked about already is the introduction of Echo and her character in the show. From her growing up and us seeing her grow up, I've never seen the character before. I've never read the character before. So this is my first introduction to Echo. And it's just, I feel like, wow, this is a different character I've never seen. She has the 2 disabilities that I've never seen that before, where she's deaf, and she also has, like, I guess either a false foot or
prosthetic leg,
a prosthetic leg there. And I was just like, oh wow, so she's just surpassing what her supposed to be, like, her limits, and kicking ass and doing all this stuff. And it's just crazy. You see the school that she's in, as far as, like, karate and all these things like that. I just was like, holy moly. And then just, seeing her character and then what happened to her, she watched her dad die, and I was like, whoa. So you can see that she thinks Ronan killed her father, and she's going to go after Ronan and try to find him wherever she can. So I don't know, man. I mean, what was your thoughts on Echo there, Al?
She was a good character. Again, my only thought was that she got too much airtime, but in terms of the dynamic of how they introduced her, that she, seems to be super intelligent, very physically capable as a fighter, and so forth. She's going to be, as a character, she's going to be something to watch, something to experience in this universe. From what I understand, she starts off, I guess, like I said, as a villain, obviously, but then becomes a good guy. I mean, she mentors and eventually becomes Ronin, no? From what I understand. So
she is.
I want
to,
yeah. So I want to see that arc, and I want to see them further develop her. I just didn't want I wanted to see that need for her show, as opposed to already knowing a good portion of her already.
Oh yeah.
And especially Uncle, and to anybody who's doubting who Uncle is, that was his voice. Not voice, but that was
his chuckle. That was his chuckle for sure.
If you've seen Vincent D'Onofrio over the years, you recognize his laugh, his tone.
His fucking hand.
Kid, all they needed to do was put his face. They might as well as put his face if you're gonna put the laugh.
That was done so smoothly, kid. All you hear is, oh. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Kid, I wasn't even watching the screen. I knew who it was. Like, I happened to be looking away for a second when that scene came up, and I knew.
Yeah, man. Crazy, man. Brandon, how about you, man? Talk to me, man. Echo, your thoughts.
I thought it was cool. I really enjoyed the after the school scene, where she kind of excelled in school without being able to hear, and she was talking to her dad about the schools and how he couldn't afford to send her to the school for deaf children. And he was saying that how she has to walk in 2 worlds, kind of like the dragon and X and Y, and they were kind of talking about dragons and how, well, you know what, I don't know if they're real, but they're probably from another world. And I'm like, okay, Shang-Chi, okay, and like as he's going about it, it was really cool to see that even though if you know her background and kind of the dad's background and how he jumps into the tracksuit mafia kind of a thing, like this guy is humbling his daughter and showing her that she's got to be the one to make the choices in her life because she's going to have to work the hardest to excel, and he knows that she can. And to seeing that how she grew up and knowing that her father's in the mafia and she's just, this is my father, X, Y, and Z. I know who my uncle is. And, like my uncle is this guy who's taking care of us and X, Y, Z. It's interesting to see how someone raised that way still went down that route at first, and it's a great duality to morals of stories. You don't judge a book by its cover, but you also don't know where everyone, what every stone has been stepped on, X, Y, and Z. So like, I really enjoyed that bringing up origin kind of. It was really cool.
Yeah, and her dad was definitely tracksuit mafia. He had the whole Adidas shit on and everything. So.
The Adidas ready to go.
He just didn't say bro.
That's all you need to do. Bro, one time.
He had those LeBrons on,
So crazy, man. And listen, you guys have kind of like brought it up real quick. But actually, first though, I just want to say, Al, I completely agree with you though. I want to see the reason why she needs her own show, and I don't think I have that just yet. So these next 3 episodes is going to have to show me some kind of like a turn or something that she does is just amazing and crazy, or her story needs to continue on for us to understand why she has her own show, besides the fact that she's different. I need to know what's going on, what's the big deal, because there's so many other characters they could use or make shows of, and they chose Echo, so that means something's up. We got to see what's going on there without worrying, waiting till the show to come out. So it's like, I don't know, I'm waiting for that. But let's talk about it. You guys brought it up already there, man, and I completely agree. 1,000%. Actually, you know what? 99%. I want to leave 1% open because I did experience WandaVision with Mephisto. I experienced Captain America, Steve Rogers for Captain and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and they didn't see it on there. Loki, I was waiting for. No, we got Kang. We got Kang with Loki, so that came out. That was all right. So I just don't want to have my hopes high. I'm personally going to say the 1% chance, because it's fucking Kingpin. The 1% chance, because we didn't see him die in the first episode, is Haley Steinfeld's dad is the uncle. Because I've never heard Kingpin referred to as uncle before. But it's Kingpin, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
It's like the 1% that it's another actor, which I don't think that is going to happen here. There's no way it's not. They're in New York, of all places. That's where Kingpin has lived. That's where he lived in his other shows. He has his building. If they even say the word like Smythe anywhere, it's a wrap. It's done. Like it's just, it has to be. It's done. It's over. It's Kingpin.
Plus,
you had his voice. Huh?
No, yeah. I mean, the voice. The voice was there. He was, compared to the father, the angle and the way he approached the little girl, he seemed huge and oversized, just like Kingpin. And the cufflinks? Cufflink. How the heck did I forget that word? Cufflinks. I think the cufflink you see on the side is a cufflink that was in an episode of Daredevil when you see all of Kingpin's cufflinks, because he was big on collecting the cufflinks. So, and I just said it, that makes me excited for what might be coming. Are we getting Daredevil back? Because he was, of the MCU shows on Netflix, Chris Cox as Daredevil, was such a better representation of that character that I've ever seen of Daredevil. No offense to what's his name, but
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck, but yeah, this was what a real life Daredevil to me would have been like, and I'm excited if they bring him into the show, only because I would love to see him somehow be brought into Spider-Man, and especially since we're touching on, there may be so many more surprises coming. If you're bringing Kingpin in and he is a Spider-Man villain, and just that little squeeze of a cheek had me thinking of so many other things that could be coming.
Look, dude, the guy's pinky was bigger than our whole face. Like, the pinky was bigger than our whole face. Yeah. So okay, Al, you got me now. The reason I think episode 6 is the week after No Way Home is because we're gonna see Charlie Cox in No Way Home, and so in episode 6 we're gonna finally see the Kingpin's face.
All right, so now you two are gonna have to explain this to me really quickly. I get Marvel contracts and stuff like that, and TV contracts versus movie contracts, and Netflix's contracts versus this. Now, I know the Netflix deal, supposedly after 5 years after the last episode, they can now be used outside.
I think it was 3 years or something. Yeah, no, I think it was. Yeah, there was something where it made sense as to why they were ending all of them.
Yeah, right. And they ended them basically saying that after a certain amount of time, whether it's 3 or 5 or 3 to 5 years, then they can show up someplace else. But from my understanding, the Netflix series were not in the MCU. They said things like the incident, you know.
Yeah, well, it was kind of like the way they did. What was the Marvel show on Channel 7?
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where like they were in the universe, they were cursory to the events. You know, they knew the events occurred, but they weren't involved in them. And I think that's how they were treating the Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage. Geez, God, right. Don't bring back Iron Fist. But
don't even say his name now. I mean, but if you guys saw not the rumors, but the news, Jessica Henwick had to choose between a role in Shang-Chi or do The Matrix. So if she was going to go to Shang-Chi, who was she going to be? Considering she was already in Iron Fist.
See, I think she would have played a different character. I don't think she would have played her same character.
I don't think so. I think they would have found a way. Considering everything that's happening right now, the chance of Charlie Cox being in No Way Home, we just possibly saw a glimpse of Iron Fist. I think because, I mean, I'm going to say the only bad person in Iron Fist other than the writing was Iron Fist himself, right? But I genuinely loved everybody else. Like every other casting I thought was great. Like the guy who played Luke Cage.
Yeah, he was awesome.
He's Luke Cage. Like he's Power Man to me. So if any of those guys were to show up in the MCU, like I'm all for it because it makes sense, except for Iron Fist. But it makes sense. Like I think they can all do it. They can all show up.
Yeah. Whoever did the casting for Iron Fist, why would you cast? And it's a martial arts show. Why would you hire an actor who had no martial arts or fighting training at all?
He got killed off from Game of Thrones like 3 episodes in.
Oh, man. Well, everybody, listen, welcome in Sanjay. My brother Sanj is on here.
What's going on, brothers? How you doing? I'm sorry that I'm tardy. Still putting the house back together and stuff like that. So
it's all good, brother. So what we're doing, Sanj, we're just talking about Hawkeye episode 3, and we talked about the show, saying it was pretty awesome, a great episode. I'm not sure if you got a chance to watch it, Sanj.
I did.
Now we're right now talking about the possibility, the little hints of Kingpin being inside this episode or Kingpin being a part of the series. What's your thoughts on that, man?
Well, I since we had Vincent D'Onofrio playing Kingpin, we all know his chops as an actor, and he's incredible. And I love to see him do those sinister parts because he does it so well. So I am so excited if they're gonna drop Kingpin on us.
Yeah, I was convinced.
6, I'm telling you, episode 6.
I was convinced that the hand that squeezed the little girl's cheek was Kingpin there. He said he heard the laugh.
It was the chuckle.
Yeah.
That was like his shot.
No, and the squeeze looked pretty robust too. Like it looked like
that's a hand. That's a squeeze that's choked somebody.
Yeah.
I know, right? I mean, that was a paw. That wasn't a hand. That was a paw. You know.
I said that pinky was the size of her whole face.
Oh my God, so crazy, man. Besides, just really quick, because I mean, we just pretty much wrapped up on that. But what was your thoughts on the whole Hawkeye episode and the series itself? I mean, you've caught up with the whole thing, so what's your thoughts so far?
Overall, I think it's incredible. I mean, they are really, pushing the story ahead really well. I like that Hawkeye is getting such, treatment with the giving, going deeper into his story, giving him some real shine, because we didn't really get to have him have a lot of shine during his time with the, in the Avengers movies and things like that. So he didn't get as much shine, but here to see him have that shine and really go into his life and what's going on with him, I think has been really, really great. The show, I really like the castings. I like the special effects and all the fight scenes and everything have been really, really well choreographed. Al's laughing at me. What's it?
No, I'm having some audience members that are trying to distract me right now in the background.
Sorry, I'm like, hi, listen. But what do you call it? The only thing I'll say that I'm not such a big fan of is that they're continuing on these tropes of super villains that are like have either disabilities or disfigurements or something like that, and that came up most recently in Bond as well. Like all the villains are always like mutilated somehow or have some something like that going on. So I would like to see us get away from that, but I mean otherwise that's the only thing I can really point at and say that I don't really like. But otherwise, the story, and the castings and just the witty back and forth that they have is really, really good. Like there's real chemistry there, like between the actors.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's just a great series, man. And I just have to say, if I'm glad you guys weren't with me when he took the Pym arrow out. I was like a little 5-year-old in this room here. Because I didn't know what to expect. Like I just assumed the arrow was gonna get huge, and then it actually happened.
Man, he dropped the hammer on it.
I lost my damn mind over here. It's like he has a Pym arrow.
As if there wasn't enough traffic on that bridge as is.
Man.
Dude,
I'm surprised the arrow didn't take out the bridge. I think the Manhattan Bridge.
That was Manhattan Bridge. Yeah, Manhattan.
So crazy, man.
But now, when she shot that arrow that blew up the car, did that driver die? Like, did we just see our first death on an MCU show?
No, it just set the car on fire. It was on fire. It's all right though.
Yeah, that's all.
Blew up.
It was on fire.
Shh. Never mind, Al. Just keep watching the pretty sights, Al.
I was like, yo, that car blew up and flipped. That guy's dead.
Yeah, man. And listen, man, episode 4 coming out this Wednesday, supposed to have Yelena in it. So let's see if she shows up. That's what I've heard. I heard there's a trailer, but I have not seen the trailer yet.
Yeah,
so looking to see Yelena Belova, I believe it is, that's coming into the MCU already. Oh, from Black Widow. Can't wait to see the new Black Widow come up in here and see what she does. Maybe kick some ass. Oh, it's going to be great, man. So we'll be back.
Did she do a pose?
Most likely. just for the game, Yeah. So next week, guys, again, I know the main focus of next week is going to be Spider-Man prep. But we'll talk about Hawkeye.
Oh, yeah.
We'll talk about Hawkeye real quick. The whole episode is going to be Hawkeye for like 4 minutes, Spider-Man prep. Hour and a half. Oh man. So then last thing, guys, that we're going to talk about tonight, man, is more of us getting to share ourselves with you, our memories, our thoughts, and some of our experiences with you guys, and kind of relate to the people listening. Because I just want to say, first of all, thank you guys. We're averaging about like 58 to 68 downloads a week now. Woo-hoo. And It's kind of amazing. We're also averaging some, views on the YouTube there, but mostly the podcast itself is being played about 68 to 58 times a week, which is amazing. So thank you guys out there. So just another way to kind of relate to you guys, kind of just share our own experiences that you might match up with yours. So we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about our best movie experiences. And when I say movie experiences, I want to talk about the times where we looked at each other and said, oh shit. We're going to talk about the times that like, I'll never forget this, something like that. So it's going to be an interesting experience because this is what I'm hoping happens when we watch Spider-Man No Way Home. I want to look at Sanj, I want to look at Al and B and go, oh shit. Is that Storm coming through? Is that Cyclops, my man?
It's fucking Toad.
For these movies, next couple movies, they can't put anybody in a wheelchair and be bald. They can't do it. You can't do it. I don't care how much you may want to.
I will completely lose it.
Is it me? Okay. I feel like there's not enough love for Tony Stark. Dude, like, not only was there Rogers the musical, but the fucking Statue of Liberty is getting a Captain America shield. Like, what? Tony Stark, he did the snap. He brought you back. Like, I was like, I crack up because even like Hawkeye is 2 years after the events of Endgame. Correct.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So this is like the furthest we've gone in time at this point. So we don't even know what the hell has gone on prior to this point. Like, where the fuck is Spider-Man in New York City? But that's another point. Like, how the hell they got Steve Rogers the musical, and like,
what a shitty musical.
We can do this all day.
Dude, that song was so catchy, I can't even lie. I was like, wow, that was actually really good.
Don't do it, Brandon. Don't say that. Don't say that, because next thing you know, January 2023, there will be a freaking Broadway show.
Rogers the musical.
Oh, they got the script and everything. I guarantee you.
The hype has been so big since that episode of Hawkeye. We had to do it. It was all Kevin Feige's idea.
You guys are crazy.
They will, you know what? They would do some shit like that because they know they'll make like $1 billion off of it.
For real. For real.
I mean, I'll show up and give him my money. Now I'm just saying though.
We can do this all day.
You guys are crazy, man. I love it.
He's so standing outside after the show trying to get my playbill signed and everything. That's actually how I met Patrick Stewart for the first time. He had a play on Broadway called A Life in Theater, and it was me and Big Mo that went to the show, and we waited after for him to come out, and we got to speak to him for a little bit, and he like signed our playbills and everything. He's a very nice guy.
That's amazing, man. That's awesome. You guys are crazy, man. I love it, man. I can see next week's episode of Spider-Man No Way. We're gonna be crazy about all that shit.
We're gonna have to start at 5 p.m. instead of 8:30.
Our hopes, our wishes, what we think's gonna happen.
The deluxe 5-hour episode of the Real Fan Review. Raw, unscripted, and unedited.
The episode you didn't know you needed, but got anyway.
And you didn't even ask.
It was the podcast you didn't need, but that you deserved. Is that the Batman line?
We'll bring you the podcast, and we will be here for 5 hours.
Lock down the city.
Do you feel like you're in control? No. That was one of the best lines in Dark Knight. That was awesome. Do you feel like you're in control? As he's sunning him at the same time. Anyway, listen, we're going to talk about these movie experiences. And I want to share the first one with you guys as far as a great movie experience that you had to be there for. And this one, I'm probably stealing this one from Sanj, but
I know what it is.
I love. This is a favorite memory of mine, man, and that is
Go for it.
seeing Transformers with that guy down there.
Optimus Prime.
Dude, the opening of that, if no one remembers the opening of Transformers, the first one, it's not Optimus, it's not the Autobots, it's this weird shit happening at an army base. And no one knows what's going on. And it's just weird sounds going on. And then all of a sudden, was it a helicopter? It was a helicopter.
Yeah, it was a helicopter. It was a Black Hawk helicopter.
Yeah, and it starts shooting at things, and then all of a sudden you hear, dude,
lost it, completely lost it.
And this thing destroyed the army base. Things were blowing up. People were running. No one knew what was happening, and it was mayhem. And we were all losing our shit. That was number one. Then we get to the scene where Bumblebee brings what was this guy's name?
Sam Witwicky.
Witwicky. He brings him to an alleyway to meet up with the other Transformers. And then we park the car, and then you see the truck, man. You see the truck coming up. You see the ambulance coming. You see the other cars coming, the other police. Oh, dude. And they all start transforming in front of your face. You see Jazz. And then here's Optimus. His fucking chest comes out and up and around. Oh, dude. That guy right there.
That was the longest transformation scene ever. It took him like 30 minutes to transform.
And all 30 minutes of them transforming, Sanjay was losing his shit, dude. I kept hearing, yes, yes.
Dude, I remember that was a packed theater for Transformers. Dude. That was like 20 years ago. And it was a packed theater.
At midnight.
Yeah, a midnight showing. Actually, it wasn't 20 years. It was like 15 years ago. But anyway, I digress. It was a packed theater. Not a seat was empty in the house. Like people all the way up on the screen, like breaking their neck to see the Transformers. You know, Optimus Prime transforms for the first time and makes his debut on screen, and the whole audience lost it. Optimus Prime got a standing ovation. Like imagine in a theater, in a movie theater, the actors cannot see you. And then on top of it, these are CGI characters. They can't see you or anything. And the entire auditorium gave Optimus Prime a standing ovation. That's how crazy. Woo! Woo! Yeah.
Oh man.
That's why they knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing, making that transformation scene so long, because they knew what was going to happen.
That's just not efficient. Can't transform that long in battle. Hold on, guys. Oh, fuck.
Oh my God. Al, man, give me a good one, man. Give me a good movie memory that you would never want to change. You always think back to this moment because it was amazing. What is a movie moment for you?
For me, it was like one of the first midnight showings I went to was back in '95 for the Mortal Kombat. Kid, and just going into the theater, it's midnight. You have a theater full of kids, like
lunatics.
Kid, it was crazy. They were going crazy as it was, and then you have the theater go dark, and the movie starts off with the sound, with the main theme song, and kicks in with the Mortal Kombat. Forget it, and with the music, and then. You think it would stop there, and it just went through the movie as each of the characters came out, especially when they introduced Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Forget it. And the first time you heard Scorpion say, "Get over here," and kid. I mean, that was when, like, I knew, first I was like, okay, I'm coming to midnight showings of every movie I want to see. Like, that was it. That sold me on midnight showings.
Yeah, absolutely.
But even though the movie wasn't great, it just showed you, if you make a decent effort at something that the fans love, you will get them to come. They call it fan service now, but if you don't give the fans what they want, why are they coming?
What the fuck are you doing? Like, straight up, what the fuck are you doing? If you're not,
to this day, there's still nothing more thuggish than when fucking Sub-Zero and Scorpion walked out of the door in the beginning of Mortal Kombat. There's nothing more thuggish than that.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh, kid. Yeah.
Man, that I remember being in the theater for that midnight showing, man. I think we went to the Levittown Theater, Levittown, which is now the AMC over there.
Yeah.
And oh man, people lost their goddamn minds when Sub-Zero came out and Scorpion. Oh, that was a moment. Yeah.
Thuggish. So
Yeah,
thuggish. The hardest moment in cinema history.
Brandon, give me a memory, kid. A memory of some moment in the
gosh.
movie theater that you just can never forget. That was amazing, man.
I don't know. It's a hard couple that I'll never forget. You know, from walking into the Matrix Revolutions with Rolando and Reality at the very end of the movie, that they were like cleaning the fucking theater. So we watched the ending by accident, to, you know, you and me watching Rambo Last Blood, and the whole last hour of the movie just us screaming in our seats together, like, I was like, oh shit, oh fuck, oh that was his head, oh god, like, you know. But I think for me, like, if there's anything I can't forget is Endgame. You know, and just like me physically crying in a theater with 100 other people when the fucking portals start opening and everybody starts coming out, and I'm like, they're back, they made it back, they're back, and then Cap goes, Avengers assemble, and I was like, ah, he said it.
He whispered that shit too. He was like, assemble.
Like, yeah. I was like, oh, he said it. Like, I think that moment isn't for me, but I really think that's tied with walking into the Matrix, because that shit was hilarious.
Sarge, man, give me a movie in theater, a movie theater experience you'll never forget, my friend.
Well, the number one of all time was the one you said. So I mean, you definitely, you know, we that's our, I think too, we shared that experience. So that's always gonna be the number one of all time for me. But 2009, when Star Trek came back to the big screen, you remember we went up to New Rochelle.
Yes.
To see it, and remember we had my dad's car, so it was like 8 of us. It was like 8 of us in the Suburban, and whatever. So we watched the whole movie, and they fucked up Star Trek so bad. Like, we drove home, and like I said nothing the whole ride home, and y'all were just like, "What's going on?" And I just said nothing. Like, my brain was broken, because I'm like, "What the fuck? Like, what just happened? Like, what did they do? Did they just like erase all of Star Trek? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, what happened?" But yeah, you know, because I had been waiting for, because remember it got pushed back, and it had supposed to come out that that Christmas before, and it got pushed back 6 whole months, and then so it just increased, you know, the wait for it, because Star Trek had gone off script, you know, off the air. There weren't any movies, and it had been a long time since there had been any Star Trek. You know, so I was like, I was all excited and everything, and then they did what they did, and like, so this was a dubious movie moment, but yeah, man, like it was, I was just like dumbfounded.
Dude, that silence started at the end of the movie, dude. You sat in that theater for an extra like 10 minutes just to yourself, like this. You just sat there just like pondering, man, just thinking, like, did they really just do that? That's crazy. I remember that.
It was like one of the worst movie experiences of my entire life, if not the most, like the worst. Like, it was just the worst.
Yeah. So funny, man. Another experience I'll never forget was, I don't know if you guys remember that movie. I think it was oh man, I can't remember the name of it right now, but it had Mark Wahlberg, and he was like a stalker, or no, Crush, was it called, the movie Crush, where he was either the stalker or he was some kind of like,
with Reese Witherspoon or something like that, right?
Dude, yeah. There's a scene where he's talking to the dad about his car. he said he's gonna pop both their cherries to his dad. Dude, I nearly got up. I was like, this nigga's fucked up. Let me get out of here. This motherfucker is too real just right now. And I remember I could not get over that I know, and Grant, I know it's a movie. I know it's not real. But the fact that he said, I'm about to pop both them cherries, I'm like, oh, dude, this guy's wrong. And for some reason, I also remember the fact that when this guy took his shirt off, all the girls screamed in the theater. They were like, oh! I was like, man, he's kind of put up. Yeah, he's kind of
disrespectful.
Disrespectful body there. I was like, geez, this guy's here is Calvin Klein's over here. But just the reaction from the theater, I'll just never forget that. And it's something similar to that in like a horror aspect. I remember watching Signs in the theater, and I remember there was a scene where I believe it's a newscast that's happening in a movie, and everybody's watching the television. And of course, they play the television for us in the theater, where we're watching it as if we're watching the television itself. And the ladies in Spanish saying like, "Oh my God, the monster's right there. They're gonna show the monster. The monster's coming." We haven't seen the monster the whole time, and we're driving ourselves crazy mentally, trying to picture what the hell's in those, the cornfields.
Shyamalan used to be so good at doing that suspense, building it up.
He built that suspense up, and then there's the scene where the monster walks from the house to like behind a bush, and just the second that he walked across, the whole
that was so crazy. That was so crazy because like I was like shook, like I was for real shook, like
yeah, that was a crazy one, man. So Signs in the theater, man. Al, any other ones that stand out to you that you can think of?
Not to jump out like that. Just Matrix. When we went to watch that in the theater, remember not knowing what the hell was going on. Like when Trinity runs into the phone booth, and then they run the garbage truck at her. Yeah, I remember sitting there saying, "What the fuck did she just do? Like, did she not see him rev the engine? What the like?" And then just throughout the movie, not knowing what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, that's another one where just throughout the whole movie and even afterwards, I think we sat there for an hour trying to figure out what we just saw.
Absolutely, man. Brandon, any other ones that stand out to you that we didn't miss?
I think, for me, it's like how audiences are different depending on age and just like your experience and reaction. Like, I don't have kids. You guys have kids. I don't have kids. But I went to go see Frozen 2. Right, in theaters, just cause like Dawn wanted to see it, and like one of her friends wanted to see it, so we went.
Bro, you totally wanted to see it. It's okay. It's all right.
I so wanted to see it. and it's crazy because like when it comes to these Disney movies, those songs come out before the movie comes out, so like all these little kids know the song, whatever. Dude, I've never been to a movie theater where everyone starts belting out songs in the middle of the movie. Like I'm sitting there watching a movie and all these kids like, let it go! Like, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, and I think about like how, when we're in a movie, we go crazy over things. I'm like, wow, is this how it is for like kids? Like when they go crazy over something? Like, damn. Like, dude, I was like 100 kids just start belting out "Let It Go." I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh my God, so funny, man. Sanj, any other movie moments that stand out to you, man?
I know, as far as you're concerned, in the Dark Knight trilogy, there, that the Dark Knight is your tops of that, but in the Dark Knight Rises. A couple of scenes out of that. The scene between Bruce Wayne and Alfred, where Alfred like has reached his limit, and he's like, "I'm not doing any more of this shit for you." He's like, "You're gonna kill yourself, and I'm not gonna watch you kill yourself. I'm just not gonna do it." And that scene between the two of them was just so intense. The level of emotion between the two of them, because Alfred's basically his dad. And he's basically telling him like, I'm going to leave. I'm leaving. I'm going to leave you. If this is the only way to stop you, and that I have to leave. I'm going to leave because I'm not going to put you in the ground or whatever. And that it's like, yo, that scene right there was like freaking intense. So that's a memorable one. And then in The Dark Knight Rises also, the scene between Batman and Jim Gordon, right before Batman takes off with the bomb, when he tells Gordon, like, sometimes it's just as easy as putting your arm around a kid and letting him know everything is gonna be all right. And it's like Gordon had the flashback to the scene in what do you call it, Batman Begins, when right after Bruce Wayne's parents had been killed, and then like that aha moment, like Jim Gordon had the aha moment, right?
Yeah.
That holy shit, that's Bruce Wayne is Batman, like that, and it's like, because they kind of have their own, friendship or whatever it is going on, and he's just like, it's that realization between the two of them. Those were two really, really great movie moments, especially for Batman. As much as we all love DC and Batman and that story in particular, and that Dark Knight trilogy was a great story arc because Batman, Bruce Wayne got out, of being Batman, and that was the first time I'd ever seen Bruce Wayne get out of it, and like escape it. Like, I did my job, and now like I can go live a life. Like it's basically like he can be Bruce Wayne again instead of having to be Batman, and of course it's with Selena Kyle, so that made, that was like the happy ending Batman, even though it was a very dark trilogy, but yeah, those were great moments right there. Those moments really stand out for me as well.
Gotcha, man. Well, listen, I'm gonna give you few more, man, and then that's it. We'll call the podcast on that, because I know these guys probably forgot to mention was the Thanos snap. The crowd went silent.
Yes. Oh my God. We're like,
crowd went silent.
He really fucking, even though we knew he was gonna do it, like, from the comics when we're like, he really did it. And then like when you see like, when Peter Parker, oh my God.
Yeah, Peter Parker. Yeah. When Thor lands in Wakanda with Groot and Rocket, that was kind of crazy. Oh man, there's a couple of those, man. That's just like, you're like, wow, man, that was nuts, man. And definitely within the MCU, a lot of different things that we've seen that make us go crazy, man. But yeah, that's a majority of them there, man. And I just want to say, guys, if there's a movie moment that you share with us, please let us know. The comment section on YouTube if you're watching on the YouTube page, or if you're listening to us if you're listening to us on a podcast playlist. Email us at therealfanreview@gmail.com and let us know either one of yours, if you share one with us, and let us know your thoughts on those experiences. So guys, that's it for us, man. Again, I'm looking forward to next week, man. Spider-Man prep, which means that we're only going to be 3 days away or 4 days away from that Spider-Man No Way Home.
And they will not stop showing the damn trailers on freaking TV. Like, they will not stop. Like, I can't watch football. I can't watch basketball. Like, I can't watch anything,
Sell tickets.
Buy tickets. It won't suck.
I just really hope not, man. But
you know what I'm getting excited for? The REELYS are coming.
Oh, yeah. It's almost that time of year, guys. We're going to start getting really ready.
The REELYS are coming. We got to start advertising our show.
Yeah, last year was a huge hit with the REELYS, so we'll definitely start like planning that out a little bit. So we'll get the 3rd annual REELYS going. And if you guys want, you can find that on the podcast or YouTube. That's us just having fun with the year behind, kind of like almost like a recap, but giving awards out to what we think were the best things and what you guys think were the best things, because you guys get to vote on that also out there listening. So just wanted to say. Oh, also because
I wanted to let you guys know, because I wasn't able to make it for the Ghostbusters recap episode. I want to let y'all know, I thought that Ghostbusters was the best movie I've seen since Ford v Ferrari.
Oh,
well.
Wow, that's deep.
I'm gonna leave y'all on that.
Yeah. Podcast over. Good night. No, but guys, definitely listen. Hit the subscribe button on the YouTube page. Hit the plus symbol on your podcast playlist if you're listening to us on a podcast. And guys, we'll be back next week again. Spider-Man Prep, Hawkeye episode 4. And we'll be back next week with some more from Long Island, New York. We got my man, my bro, Sanj.
Good night, everybody, and stay safe out there.
We got my brother, your brother, B.
Adios, everybody.
Orange Crush. Orange Crush. We got our man in the chair, Al.
Have a good night, everybody.
And myself, Hob, saying what's up. Thank you. Have a good night. We'll catch you on the next podcast. Until next time.